what advice would you give to people who are trying to get into consulting then?
I would start with thinking through what your tipping point is and what do you need to have so that you feel comfortable taking that leap. So if you are at a point where you're in corporate, you're burnt out, you want to start freelancing or consulting, what's going to make you, is it a certain amount of savings? Is it a certain number of clients? Is it a certain amount of revenue? Figure out what that thing is.
Welcome everyone to the Project Manager Connect Show. I am your host, Anna Anderson, and today I have with me Paula. But before we continue, I am a career coach, I am a PMP trainer, a LinkedIn learning instructor, and I help people who are trying to get into project management just learn the steps they need to take so they can become project managers and also pass their PMP on their first try. But today I have a special guest with me. Her name is Paula. Hi, Paula. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me today. And just before we started recording, I was like, I met you through cold emailing, cold messaging. I am, just because of the content that you share on a social media platform. And I just thought, I think whatever it is that you're sharing is going to benefit tons of people. Let me try my luck and reach out to her and see if she's going to respond. And I'm thankful that you're like, yes, I can do it. So thank you. But do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Thank you again for inviting me. I was particularly interested in this podcast and meeting with you because I was a project manager for the majority of my career, honestly. So I have a deep soft spot in my heart for that career field. Yeah. And I think it's one that has been strong and will continue to be strong. I was a project program manager for 10 or 15 years in a variety of different industries. And then I pivoted into customer success at B2B SaaS startups. And once I did that, I was building and leading customer success and implementation teams from the ground up. I left corporate 2.5 years ago or so to start consulting full time. And I knew I had wanted to work for myself, and it was just a matter of when. And the timing was right. And I sort of took a step back and thought about what exactly is the type of work that I would want to do. And when I thought about all the jobs that I'd had and thought about what's the type of work that I've naturally gravitated toward in all of those, it was operations. It was figuring out how to do things better, faster, more efficiently. It was, figuring out how to build processes and teams from zero. And I loved that. So I decided let me go and try to do that for clients. So I am a consultant at this point. I work on my own. I don't have a team at this point. So I have several clients. And then I've just started about a few months ago now, showing up on TikTok and other social media platforms, trying to be supportive and share helpful information for other people who want to start consulting. I'm talking and sharing all the time. I've got office hours and ebook, and I'm building out a digital product to help people as well. So that's been very, very fun.
That's awesome. I love that you have the foundation of project management, program management, customer success, business operations, all these things. And you said you were within the project management space 10 to 15 years. So those were many different industries and stuff like that. How did you get into project management, speaking of?
Yeah, it's a good question. Sort of by accident and sort of by someone pointing out the things that I was really good at. So when I started out of college, I sort of graduated when we were still in the recession. I graduated in 2010 and I started at a job. I got a job. I didn't really know what it entailed, but I showed up and started working. And I tend to be just very organized and fairly good at communications. And so I just naturally would take more and more work on, and I was executing it well. And I was at a management consulting firm. So I was working with, executive level folks and exposed to a lot very early on in my career. And I think that I was also working with people who were consultants who had previously been in very senior roles. And so they had an eye for good talent. A woman pulled me aside and said, I think project management might be interesting for you based on how I'm seeing that you actually work and how your brain works.
Yeah.
So I worked with her for a bit on a couple of projects, learned that I liked that work. And then that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
So, because a lot of people will reach out to me and say, Anna, I just don't have the experience. And I'm like, what do you do? And they
Yeah.
start talking about it. And if it wasn't for that woman who saw what you're doing, and also your actions spoke louder, like what you're
Mm.
doing, organizing, planning, being in charge. You just mentioned communicating, which are a lot of soft skills that a lot of people underestimate that they
Yeah.
already have that
Yeah.
they can bring into project management or whatever role, but at least project management because we're talking about project management right now. So now you are a consultant. What inspired you to be a consultant?
I think that some of it was having had experienced lots of different companies, lots of different environments, and
Mm-hmm.
feeling like some level of frustration with how things were, and
Mm-hmm.
figuring like I want to be able to call the shots here. I want to be able to make the decisions and not be
Mm-hmm.
beholden to what this organization or the leadership team wants to do. There was definitely some part of that. I have like some entrepreneurial spirit in that way. And I was really looking, I was at a point in my life, I had a lot of things going on personally where I was really looking for a lot more flexibility and freedom. I wanted to be able to make my own schedule, work with a variety of different clients as opposed to just one company. And consulting was a way for me to do that.
Yeah, yeah. And I love that you used that experience to think, you know what, I want to work for myself. I can do this. And that
Yes.
brought you where you are right now. Because I know a lot of people are afraid. They're super afraid to start. And I've seen some of the videos you shared, and sometimes people are like, how do I start? I'm so nervous and all that. How does someone go ahead and start if they're feeling that they have that need to be a consultant?
Yeah. I think, I hear a lot from people that, yes, they are nervous, right? They have this idea that corporate is still so stable
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to have to spend so much of my time doing business development and networking. But I think if we really take a step back and look at how the market is right now and everything that's evolving and changing with the introduction and growth of AI, there's a massive shift happening right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I am noticing in my conversations with clients and prospective clients, the level of openness to hiring consultants who are highly specialized and expert at certain things
Mm-hmm.
versus a full-time employee who might be more of a generalist
Mm-hmm.
is high. That conversation has become easier and easier. And so I think it's really just about figuring out like, what is your specialty? So kind of that thing that I did where I said, well, my resume says all of these things. I've had
Yeah.
these titles, but
Mm-hmm.
what's the work that I've loved and that I've
Mm-hmm.
always done that I can say I've had a lot of impact and value on these
Mm-hmm.
things. And so it's like thinking about a problem that you're really good at solving and then
Mm-hmm.
packaging that solution. And I always do like to caution people too, like, don't spend time on a website and putting together a pitch deck. Like, just get out and start networking and talking to
Yeah.
people about what you're doing. You can figure all of that out when you need to.
Yeah. Speaking of networking, people get so nervous, like so scared. Because I talk about that in my community. I'm like, you have to reach out to people at places that you want to work at. Applications should be probably 20% of your time. That's
Mhm.
just my opinion. And
Mhm.
then reaching out to people should be probably 80% of your time because your application, especially with today's job market, it's probably just going to sit somewhere in some type of database unless someone picks it up or unless maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, how does someone go about reaching out for consulting opportunities?
Yeah, I am really a huge proponent of leveraging your network. I mean,
Mhm.
if you've come from corporate, you're like sitting on a gold mine of people, right? So you can reach out to folks that you've previously worked with. I mean,
Mhm.
they know best your work product, what they can expect of you and the value and impact you delivered. Like, you don't need to remind them, they know.
Mhm.
So reaching out to folks that you've previously worked with is a great idea. I've also just spent a lot of time like combing LinkedIn for full-time jobs that folks in my network are hiring for.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
when I thought there was a good fit, I reached out to them for a conversation and said, would you be open to hiring a consultant or someone on contract as opposed to a full-time employee? And here's why I think it's a good idea. Here are the benefits to you. And I've landed several contracts that way.
I think that's such a good idea. As you're saying, the market is shifting.
Yes.
Organization probably doesn't even have that maybe they do, but that funding for, healthcare and all that stuff, additional stuff. So they're like, if we can just give you a fixed amount for you to complete this because you have this kind of specialty, then we'll bring you in for this
Yeah.
short period of time, and maybe they may extend you. And
Mhm.
it's very important, as you say, to leverage your network. It's like they say, your network is your net worth. And sometimes it's cliche, sounds like it's cliche, but it's very, very true. So I'm glad you share that, and I'm glad that you're leveraging yours as well to help you get some of these contracts. How many contracts can you work on at the same time?
I don't have a high volume. So
Okay.
my with my work, I tend to be pretty embedded in
Hmm.
the teams and in the organizations. And so for me, I mean, it depends, of course, on the scope and exactly what I'm doing, but I'm typically on 3 or 4 uh, client projects at a time.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
and I'll have like longer term engagements too, where it's not atypical for me to work with a company for 6, 9 months.
Yeah, yeah. And I know you say you don't have a team. How do you balance all that stuff?
I always think I need to find a unicorn. It's like I don't like again, I don't have the volume right now where I need someone to do what I do as a consultant, but there's some administrative overhead that would be helpful. Or now with this work that I'm doing to try to grow my personal brand and help others become or consultants or freelancers or scale their businesses, there's all of the marketing and setting up the back end infrastructure for that. But I just keep doing everything myself. And I
Yeah.
almost see it right now as a way for me to stay really close to the changes that are happening. That is a way for me to stay up to date on new tools, platforms, AI, what can we do, and challenge myself to say, like, how much of this can I automate and make easier for myself if I am an operational efficiency person after all?
Mm. So, as someone who does business operations, yes, you don't have a team, but you do work with a team. Is that my assumption? How do you work with the organizations directly then?
I do. I work with teams.
Mhm.
So I'll typically work with small to medium sized businesses and nonprofits. And either one particular team will bring me in and I'll help that department or function. And it might
Mhm.
expand from there. Or the leadership team will bring me in and I'll kind of work on a project that's cross functional. Yeah,
Mhm.
it really varies.
Oh, okay. So you do consulting work with, right now, you said you have 4 clients, small to medium size, nonprofit. How do you go about finding your clients besides maybe platforms like LinkedIn? Are there any other platforms that you use to find clients?
No, I mean, really, it's my this tool, my phone, this tool right
Mm-hmm.
here is, I'm pretty good at staying connected to people. Like that is one of the things that I'm good at. I'm a connector. And so staying in touch with former colleagues. And then LinkedIn, yeah, like I said, perusing and seeing if there are folks in my network hiring and reaching out there. I also do post on LinkedIn is more of a subject matter expert, not salesy, right? So I'm sharing tips and
Yeah.
tricks or things that I'm working on. And, it's really just staying top of mind for people. It's
No,
exposure.
that's like that. And a lot of my clients are afraid to post on LinkedIn. And
Yeah.
and I tell them, post your thoughts. Don't post, oh, I'm desperate, I'm looking for a job. Post your thoughts.
Yes.
Because once you start posting your thoughts, in fact, I had one client who ended up getting a role with one of the big tech companies because she was posting at the end of the week how she leveraged project management for her week and planning her week and everything that she did during the week. And this recruiter from this company reached out to her and said, I really like your posts, what you share and
Yeah.
stuff like that. We have a program director, program, whatever, PMO, something, something. And
Mhm.
she was hired just through those posts and stuff like that. And in the beginning, she used to be like, Anna, no one is even liking my post. I told her, I'll like your post. Don't worry about it. I'll like your post. And even if you get one like, it is the reach that is very, very important because people worry about, I only got one like, they go about deleting the post. Someone reached out to me to do a LinkedIn learning course because of my posts. Like, I
Right.
don't know who they are. So it's
Right.
important. And as you said, leveraging and sharing your thoughts on platforms like big platforms like LinkedIn is very, very important and
Yes.
stuff like that. Yeah.
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 Yeah. It really, really is. And even if someone isn't seeing your posts right now, let's say you get a meeting or an interview with them, they're going to go to your
Yes.
LinkedIn
Yeah.
and look at what you're up to.
Yeah. No, you're
Mhm.
right. Oh, okay. So a lot of project managers, especially right now. the job market, again, we've talked about, it's very, very tough right now. How can they get into consulting if they wanted to?
I think project management is such an important skill that every company benefits from.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a lot of opportunity right now to work in a consulting or contract capacity as a
Mm-hmm.
project or program manager. I think that if you're already coming with that experience, you've already been a PM, and being able to just go take that expertise and skill set and go apply it at any company is a great thing. So again, I would just say look for roles in your network, reach out to people and let them know that you're looking to work as a project manager on a contract basis. You'd be surprised how many people will say, you know what, I might have something for you, or not right now, but reach back out to me in 2 months or something.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
especially with something like project management, it's so easy to say, it's such an easy sell in to say, like, we can just start with a 3-month
Yeah.
contract.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how this goes and let me knock this project out of the park for you and then go from there. Every one of my clients is a repeat client at this
Mm-hmm.
point. In my experience, they spend the time getting you onboarded. They've invested in you. You do good work.
Mm-hmm.
It's such an easy thing to have them just keep you on.
That's good. And you're building those relationships and they continue to know your work. They're like, we'll just continue signing Paula on and on and on and on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I know some of the big tech companies also have entire websites for contract work, and you can always start with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't necessarily have to be a consultant. You can work in a 1099 contractor capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Gives you a lot more flexibility than a full-time
Yeah.
role
Yeah.
does.
No, no, you're right. What are some of the challenges you face though?
I mean, I think a lot of it is the mental aspect of getting comfortable with the potential lack of consistent income.
Mm-hmm.
Say potential because I know a lot of people who've gone out and done this, and we think it's going to be inconsistent, and it's actually, we don't have a problem with bringing new projects in. It just,
Mm-hmm.
you build that confidence and momentum goes, and like I said,
Mm-hmm.
repeat clients. But I do think that's something you have to evaluate as sort of like your risk tolerance.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, getting comfortable talking about the solution that you provide, the value and impact that you can deliver, being able to articulate that clearly so it's easy for people to say, I want to work with you. Those are the biggest things. I think figuring out contracts and the infrastructure and the LLC, like there's so many tools and resources at our disposal. People think that's a bigger beast than it actually is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I actually ended up getting your ebook. Is it an ebook, something like
Oh,
that? I
yes. Yeah,
did
yeah. Oh,
because
great.
yeah, and I saw on there you're giving people advice on how to set up their LLC, figure out their taxes. Maybe Paula is not like an accountant, but you need to figure some of those things out on your own too. But if you want to set up an LLC, if you want to figure out your taxes, reach out to your accountant. If you want to, there's some things that maybe a little bit of additional research would
Yeah.
help, but you've done a lot of the, legwork for those people who want to get in and just start and then they can go ahead and build from there.
Yeah, exactly. I tried to put that, I tried to use that book as like a collection of all of my lessons learned,
Mm-hmm.
and sort of lay it out as a step by step to
Mm-hmm.
get started. And I'm really
Mm-hmm.
excited about this AI tool that I'm building because it's effectively going to be a business coach, on-demand
Mm-hmm.
business coach, and it's all
Mm-hmm.
based on my own experience and methodology. So that'll be rolling out as early as next week, and I'm excited for that too.
I don't want to miss that. I want you to share what is it about so that people can hear about it and get it from you when it comes out. What is
Oh
your
yeah.
AI tool?
Yeah, thank you. So what I did was I built out 6 different GPTs that are topic based. So I've got one that will help you figure out your niche and positioning, your pricing strategy, how to talk about your value proposition, how to structure contracts and invoicing and all of those things based on my experience, my methodologies, and my resources. And so what you would do is if you purchase it, you gain access to those, and it's going to prompt you with questions that you then
Mm-hmm.
input answers. And at the end of it, you're going to get tailored results for you. So if you say, I want to be a consultant, but I don't know where to start, it's going to say, okay, well, tell me about your background and what have you done? And what about this? And then at the end, the deliverable will be, here is your niche, here's your positioning statement, here's your elevator pitch, here's your pricing strategy, like everything laid out for you so that you can get to work.
That's powerful because, again, many people just don't know where to start. And that, if that gives someone a start in terms of, just understanding, first of all, their niche, and then getting into like pricing, getting into maybe contracting, getting into just understanding, because I always say we all have something to offer. Nobody doesn't have nothing to offer. We all have something to offer.
Exactly.
And if
Yes.
your passion is getting into, because you keep asking the same questions, and your passion is getting into consulting and using your expertise to do that, then maybe that will be a great tool for them to leverage. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see when it comes out. And
Yeah,
and
thank
yeah,
you.
no, I'm gonna get it for sure. All right. So what advice would you give to people who are trying to get into consulting then?
I would start with thinking through what your like tipping point is and what do you need to have so that you feel comfortable taking that leap. So if you are at a point where you're in corporate, you're burnt out, you want to start freelancing or consulting, what's going to make you, is it a certain amount of savings? Is it a certain number of clients? Is it a certain amount of revenue? Figure out what that thing is. I also recommend people keep their full-time jobs and pick up a contract or two on the side and just, building in that way. But while they do that, tell everyone what you're doing. You don't have to post about it on LinkedIn necessarily if there's a conflict with your current role, but pick up the phone and let people know what you're up to and what you're thinking about doing. And again, just start staying top of mind and start sharing your best practices and the impact and the value that you've had. And that's where I would really start is don't wait on, beginning to reach out to your network. Do that first.
Yeah, just start.
Just start.
And people worry about, I need to have a website. I mean, we have Canva, we have PowerPoint. You can literally on Canva go on there and say portfolio, whatever template, and it gives you everything. We have I know we have also this website called InVideo. You can literally create, you don't even have to speak. You put your stuff in there and you can put a voiceover and it speaks for you and shares. It's a minute long PowerPoint. Now it has AI built-in templates that you can just design for you. So there's just, I mean, PDF. There's tons of stuff that you can do to create your one-pager, two-pager portfolio to showcase your accomplishments, what you can bring to an organization. Okay, we are almost done here. One other question is, I see also websites like Apple, Catalan, TopTal. Do you recommend those for people to go into to find like those kind of consulting opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's great to see what is out there. It is great to see the how these companies are thinking about the type of support that they need, how they talk about their problems and the solutions that they're looking for. I think apply, throw your hat into the ring, but as it goes with, submitting applications for full-time work, like you are then going into a stack, right? So again, if there's a way for you to get connected to the company and make a human connection there, that will help. But I've definitely used Catalent and some of the others, and I think that there's some good work there, but you sort of have to like stay on top of them and apply right away and wait. And I have personally found that my time is better spent picking up the phone or sending an email to people and have a 15-minute check-in.
Yeah, conversations go a long way than waiting for someone to finally dig into your application, maybe months after the opportunity has already been filled out. All right. So beyond your consulting work, do you offer any other services?
So yes, I have my consulting work, my business operations consulting, and then with this work that I'm doing to help folks get started or scale with their own consulting. I just rolled out one-on-one coaching as well. And I've got my office hours, which are free, that are been so fun. We've had like 30, 50 people joining those on Fridays. Just a great way to connect. But for now, that's it in addition to the digital products.
Awesome. Awesome. How can people find you, Paula?
I am on TikTok at It's Paula Gorman.
Mm-hmm.
And I have just got started on Instagram. I cannot figure out that algorithm. I'm also, it's Paula Gorman there, and I have teeny tiny amount of followers there.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
I'll be rolling out a website as well. And I have on both Instagram and TikTok, I have my Stan store linked where all my resources are.
Awesome. And you also have LinkedIn. I'll put all those
Thank you.
links on the show notes. Guys, if you can, please follow Paula. Paula has been sharing tons of amazing information in the consulting space. If you're on TikTok, follow her. She shares short videos that want more. So hopefully this show has given an open eyes for you if you want to get into consulting. Definitely reach out to her for a one-on-one conversation. She just mentioned she has an AI tool coming out next week. Will it be on your Stand store or something? Or
It will.
okay,
Yes.
so it will be on her Stand store as well. Get that one if you want to start. As you can hear from her conversation, you just need to start. Just go ahead and start. And if you feel consulting is your calling, look deep and understand what can I offer to an organization? Who can I reach out to speak with about this opportunity that they have within that organization? And then you just go from there. And if all else fails, come back and ask Paula, what do I do next? Because maybe she may have a solution for you because she's been doing this for a while. So thank you so much, Paula. Any other final words that you want to share?
I just encourage you all to start if you want to, if you've been thinking about it. And I am right here cheering you on. And thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you. I truly appreciate it. You have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.